Hello everybody, I'm CJ Liu. Welcome to the Fire It Up with CJ show where we make spirituality fun, actionable, and practical. And today we have Philip Goldberg, who is the author of American Data. And he is going to talk to us all about how the Indian culture has affected our Western civilization. And today we're going to talk about yoga. Why are we talking about yoga? I actually found that when I read I read the Yoga Sutras or had it translated, and it really deepened my yoga practice to know, why was I saying Om? Why was I even on the mat? Why was I there, and why was I having such an incredible experience? I wanted to know.
The thing that needs to be said first is that yoga is so popular now. Many people going to yoga classes don't realize that what they're spending most of their time doing, the physical aspects of yoga, the asanas, yep, maybe a little pranayama, they're really just a small part of what yoga is. And since you read the Yoga Sutras, you probably were surprised to discover that there's hardly anything about asanas in the Yoga Sutras, yes, right? And the context of mentioning asana at all was proper posture for meditation. And so the Hatha Yoga repertoire of asanas and pranayama is a kind of offshoot of the vast and diverse tradition of yogic teachings that go back many centuries. And Hatha Yoga is one development where the physical aspect of cultivating mind and body for the purpose of attaining yoga. Now, you could think of yoga as something you do. I go to do yoga at the class, and that usually means asanas to people. But yoga is also a state. It's a state of consciousness. It's a state of being. The very first, the second verse in the Yoga Sutras defines yoga as a state of consciousness. Yoga is the cessation of the mental activity or sensations of the mind. It is the state of being that's characterized by unity. Yoga means union, right? It's the same root as the English word yoke.
Right, to yoke mind, body, spirit. That's the whole name of the game. That's the goal. It's not I'm going to get really flexible. I may be able to do a headstand. That's not the goal of the whole thing. The goal is to get at this state.
Asanas are very good, but their original use was as part of cultivating the nervous system to be able to meditate more deeply and to experience union. And you could say of mind, body, and spirit, but you could also say of the individual self, me, Phil, you, CJ, with our true nature, our true self, higher self, capital S self, which is the same as all the other selves and the one self of the universe. So yoga is a means of attaining the highest states of consciousness, of unity of awareness and of individuality with the cosmic self. And this is a high state of fulfillment and inner peace. That's what yoga is about. And if along the way you also have better health and your body can stretch and better and is more resistant to disease, or you look better, all that is a side benefit and not to be diminished. We like those things, but it's not the ultimate of what true yoga is all about. And if you're talking about the Yoga Sutras and you asked about texts, what if you go back to the great texts of Indian philosophy, of Vedanta, the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads, those are the great texts of yoga. They define yoga as the state of union, and they outline the different yogas, the Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and that's the real education in yoga if you're interested in the ideas and the philosophy. But we don't want to dwell too much on the study or the text. You can be a great yogi and achieve these higher states without ever opening a book if you're properly taught, because all the books will tell you it's the practices that matter, not the books themselves.
Right.
The books are just, like the Buddhists say, the books are fingers pointing to the moon, they're not the moon.
Right. And I think that makes a huge difference, because there are a lot of yoga teachers out there who, it's about stretching harder, and it's like, I don't think that's what this is. It's not about that.
And that may be good, and, they're probably very good teachers, and they probably know how to do things that are good for the body, good for health, good for being limber, and all that. But that's not the full package of what yoga is.
Right.
And I think it's very important that you're bringing this up, because there's a lot of people who are very concerned that yoga is becoming synonymous with physical fitness. And it's a lot more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I actually view, someone said, what is your favorite part of yoga? And I said, at the end, when you play like you're dead. Because isn't that the whole goal?
Well, and unfortunately, that's usually where it ends, instead of then sitting up and meditate, because at that point you are very well prepared for sitting meditation practice.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, most yoga studios totally ignore that. And I would like to see, the addition of meditation practices into the yogic repertoire in America more than it now is.
Yeah.
Don't forget, it started that way. These physical aspects of yoga that are now in the forefront, they were very secondary throughout most of the history of all the gurus coming here. When Vivekananda and Yogananda and Maharishi Mahesh Yogi and these people, they emphasized meditation.
Right.
And they had asanas as just something you do for, to prepare for meditation.
Right.
It was a minor part of the package.
I hate to say, but it's the foreplay before you get to, it's, to me, the asanas is the foreplay before you get to, like, the main thing. Like, the whole goal, the climax is to, like, basically meditate and be still.
That's as good a metaphor as any.
On that note, we are going to talk next about meditation. So we have Philip Goldberg, the author of American Data. We'll be right back. And for folks who want to make spirituality fun, practical, and actionable, then make sure to friend us on the Fired Up with CJ page on Facebook, subscribe to us on iTunes, or subscribe by clicking on this button up here on YouTube. We'll be right back.